Okay, great. So a quick introduction. My name is Usman Ali Lawan. They call me the farmer in suits. In the last 8 or 10 years, I have dedicated myself to building sustainable farming systems, practicing it, and also promoting it. We have our head office in Kefi. It's sitting on 24 acres. We do everything from poultry farming to fish farming. We have rabbits, we have snails, but we created a cycle where the waste produce of one system, one cycle or process serve as input for the next process. So basically, um, um, we produce our feed meal, we produce our chicken feed, and after the chicken consume the feed, we take all the chicken droppings and we use it to inoculate the crop residuals and make compost fertilizer, which goes back to the field. Uh, in the last 8 or 10 years, I have been able to, or I have had opportunities to attend a lot of fellowships. Some of the very popular one, the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I am also a fellow of the Aspen New Voices. I am a Tony Illumile entrepreneur and a host of other fellowships actually that I have been able to attend. Usually when we, in this country, in Nigeria especially, people, young people are always looking forward to what we call hammering. Everybody wants to hammer. Uh, Entrepreneurship and business is usually not something that you rush into in the hope that in the next 2 or 3 years you will become Aliko Dangote. Entrepreneurship is a process of building, and you would have to build slowly, most times organically, and grow it over a certain period. Normally, even in developed societies, the success rate for businesses after age 7 is usually only 3 businesses succeed out of 10. I promise you, in Nigeria, you can almost say it's 0 businesses that succeed after post 7 years. So Nigerian business environment is one of the most difficult that anybody can even think of operating in. The system, we all know what it looks like. Uh, the regulators, we know what it looks like. And things are getting actually worse. I give you a simple example. We have been trying to get our tax clearance certificate for this year in the past, what now, 4 months. We have filed our taxes, we paid everything. Dude that is sitting on our file says, hey, you'd have to give me money before I push the file further. This is just a simple example. These things happen every day, all the time in this country. Now, how do you, irrespective of the difficulties and the challenges, how do you move and grow your business from a small enterprise to something big? I am going to talk about a few things. I'm sorry I do not have a slide because, of course, I have been traveling. I've been running all over the place. I couldn't make one. But I'm going to try and talk about a few specific things that you can do to be able to grow your business and succeed in business. I tell people all the time, you know, I am not the only farmer. You know, I am not the only farmer. Uh, However, I am probably one of the very few that has gained the kind of recognition and even made the kind of money that I am making through agriculture. The first thing is for you to be able to succeed in business. First of all, you must be able to solve a problem. You must be able to feel a need. So the big question is, irrespective of wherever you're running your business, what need are you feeling? What problems are you solving? That is actually very important question that every business person must answer. The second thing is, once you know the problem that you are solving, once you know the need that you want to fill, you must begin to think about your competition. Who are your competitors? What are they doing to solve that problem? How are they solving the problem? Now, these are all basic information that you get in business schools and classrooms. Most important thing is, when you start off your business, you probably need money. Almost always you need money to start your business. But I tell people that the money itself is not the biggest challenge. Often when you ask young entrepreneurs, what is your biggest challenge? They tell you, well, capital. I tell people, no, it's not. Because if you are solving a real problem, and if you have a real solution that people are willing to buy, then raising the money to start the business will not be such a big deal. Of course, it's not as easy, but it's not impossible. Another thing that you must do to be able to succeed in business, once you know the exact problem that you're solving and you have determined what solutions you're providing, the next thing is to be able to build leverage around yourself. This leverage can come in several different ways. But I like to advise people to always focus on the low cost leverage. Leverages that you probably wouldn't have to spend money to get. So I give you a simple example. It's very important for you to have a group that you work with. Entrepreneurship generally is a very lonely journey. Get to a point where you realize that, look, I haven't got any friends. The people that I thought are my friends don't seem to understand me anymore. And people can very well abandon you because they believe that you don't care. Most times when you start a business and you push it like every entrepreneur does, you'd find out that you're standing in the wilderness by yourself. So it's very important for you to build a group of associates who are in similar businesses with you. A group of people who have similar kind of passion like you. A group of people who think the way you think, just like you have this group here. Because only when you are with a group of people who think the way you think, then they'll be able to understand you, and then they can provide that support system that you need. Sometimes you're not able to reach information unless you have a group that, those kind of information are able to be passed through. Now, the second kind of leverage that you can actually utilize is the leverage of experts. These experts can be people who you know. There's always experts around us. When I first started my business, my board of directors was mostly my senior friends and even my lecturers from the university. These are seasoned entrepreneurs themselves. They have built a name for themselves. They can speak for you, and people know and respect them. Now, when you start your business, to be able to earn trust from all stakeholders, whether it is the customers or it is the banks, or even if it is fellowships you are applying for, you would need those kind of leverages. For instance, you want someone to write a reference letter for you. That person should come to you and say, look, I have this business. I want to start a business. What are the references that I can use? Then you can provide that support system to be able to
I think we have lost you. We can't hear you, sir. Can anyone hear him?
No, maybe he has to mute and unmute. I don't know. I think his sound is missing. His sound is
we
gone.
lost him. We lost him.
Yeah.
Sorry, please, let's wait and see if he can connect back.
Mm. Some technical issues.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone.
Hi.
Yes. So
Hi,
we
bro.
need to wait a little bit then. But in the interim, I think if anybody has something to say, maybe while we wait. I know everyone is muted, but if you indicate that you want to say something,
Yeah, you can raise up your hand.
and then you will be, yes, you'll be unmuted.
Dr. Ahmed, if you can contact him, let's see if he is having any issues.
Is Ahmed here with us?
Yeah, he is.
Dr. Ahmed.
Hello?
Yeah, you're online.
Okay. Yeah, zan yi kokarin same shi don wallahi yana transit ne daga airport ma yake.
Oh, Allah sarki.
Yes, sir. Well, let me call him again.
Yeah, I think maybe we would be advising people to be using slides against our upcoming presentations. It will be good. I hope we would get him back soon.
Okay. Okay, I just got unmuted now. I was wondering, do we still have the recording he sent earlier?
Yeah, we should have.
If Dr. Ahmed Mohammed, if you, I don't know if you can hear me, if we still have that recording, you know, we can go ahead and play it since it's on the same topic. Okay, he's connecting, he's reconnecting.
Yeah,
it's fine.
He's back.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I lost the connection.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
happened.
So who was talking about low cost leverages that you can utilize? The second, the third thing, apart from actually getting yourself a very sound advisory board, This is actually very, very important. Apart from giving you the advice, they can also speak for you. They can write you reference letters. At every point in time that I get someone who is to be interested in my business and understand what I am doing, I would normally ask the favor, can you please serve on my board? And then write an official letter asking them to serve on the advisory board, usually for at least 1 year. Sometimes you're lucky, they might go on for several years to advise you. These are usually things that it's difficult for a young entrepreneur to be able to afford, but you can actually leverage them because they're always around you. And I know a lot of people all across the North who are willing and happy to be able to provide this kind of support, especially in our universities. Myself and some of my friends, even though we are still learning yet, we're able to provide mentorship to other young people. So do not be afraid to ask. Now, the third thing is actually grant applications and fellowship opportunities. When I started my business, I just wanted to run it by myself. And what I wanted to do originally was just to have a poultry farm. So I started with a small poultry farm of 300 beds. Soon enough, we built, we increased capacity to about 750. And I remember at the time, I think about 2 years after I started my business, the Goodluck Jonathan administration was doing the You Win opportunity. And because it was government, I just didn't apply. I didn't have any faith in the whole system. The application window closed, and then I saw a lot of people got free money from the government, sometimes up to 10 million naira. And that opened my eyes. And I'm like, okay, so actually I can be able to source for money and funding. I mean, literally free money, like a grant. And that was when I started making the efforts. And in the last 7 years, I have won more than, well, close to $500,000 in grant money. And I have attended some of the most prestigious fellowships. The money is good. The fellowships are wonderful. But the two most important things that I have taken from these opportunities is, first of all, I have been able to build a tribe, a whole tribe around me, a tribe of young people and seasoned entrepreneurs who are doing the kind of things that I'm doing. Some of them are doing a lot better than me, and now they are my friends. They are able to provide me with all the support that I need. For example, I started shaping the farm to become a zero-waste agri-venture after I came back from the Mandela Washington Fellowship in the US in 2017. While I was doing the fellowship, 25 of us from 17 African countries, it was there that I met a certain fellow who was from Rwanda, and the only thing he used to do was just compost fertilizer. And so he taught me how to do organic compost fertilizer. And I saw that it was very easy and I could do it and it can add value to my business. Well, in 2019, we actually saved more than $9,000 in the cost in fertilizer costs because we were using composts. The second thing that it has taught me, apart from meeting the people, is also it has helped me to shape my thinking. Every fellowship that I have been to came with different advantages and different benefits. But the most important thing is I have been able to reshape my thinking to be able to build my business to where I really want it to be. Truly, when we started in 2010, we actually didn't even know that we were going to be a zero-waste agricultural venture, or we're going to be doing using mobile technology and mobile value added services for agriculture, we didn't know that we were going to build the kind of structures that we're building now. We just started off as a small poultry farm. I just wanted to do something by the side. But as soon as I continue to understand all the problems that are associated with agriculture and food security in Nigeria, Africa, and the world, now I begin to put in more interest, and then I started attending these fellowships, and it has continued to shape the way we think and the way we run our business. The third one is, the fifth one now, the fifth low-cost leverages that you can utilize is actually your friends. I am going to tell you a few stories. So during the lockdown, just after the COVID lockdown, we decided that it's about time we do all our compliance documents, which include NSITF, ITF, of course, and our taxes as well, and PENCOM. At every point in time, I realized, oh, I have a classmate or a friend in PENCOM. I have a classmate or a friend in NSITF. In fact, I was just talking to you about our taxes. Yesterday, I called a friend who went to intercede for us at the FIRS office. He's highly respected, and because of him, he says, hey, send me your email address. I'm sending you the TCC right away. This is something that I have been running after for more than 3 months. Understand the value of your friends, and as much as you are busy pursuing your business, try to make an effort to stay in touch, because you never know when you would want to do something and you will be needing help from someone in an organization, and then you go, oh, can you hear me? Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now these are the things that every young entrepreneur should think about and be ready with before they even start their business, and also as they continue to run the business. As an entrepreneur, there is going to be a lot of challenges. There's always a challenge somewhere every other day. I give you a simple example. As at 3 p.m. on Thursday, or on Tuesday, as at 3 p.m. on Tuesday, I had no idea that I was going to Maiduguri on Wednesday morning. So I received a call. It was an emergency. Our project was not doing the way we had planned. And so I started talking to people. Well, next minute, I had called the airport and, hey, can you please book me a ticket? And boom, I'm in Maiduguri on Wednesday. And I just got back today. As soon as I arrived home, like my bag, my traveling bag is still in the car actually. I took the car and I am in Kefi now. I'm having this meeting with you. I am sitting in the car. I was driving earlier on because on the farm, the network is not so good. So I needed to get to town where I can be able to talk to you, where I'll have good network. Now, this is the average life of an entrepreneur. My wife picked me from the airport and she's like, have you seen your eyes like you haven't slept for 3 days and you still want to go to Kefi? And I'm like, well, I won't give you an answer because I will still go anyways. Your business is like a child. Your business is like your child. If you don't care for your business, if you don't nurture it, if you don't build it, it will get malnourished, it will get sick, and it will die. And the price that you need to pay for all of that care and nourishment to be in the business, most times, is you investing your time. Now, as you continue to grow, though, you must start thinking about something. And this is the stage where we are right now. As an entrepreneur, the business cannot continue to run only in your presence. You are a successful entrepreneur when you are able to build systems and structures where even if you are not around, the business can run. So you must continue to think about that. You must think about the people that you will hire in your business. As these openings happen, as the expansion continues for you, you must think about who you want to hire. They must be people who understand your vision and are willing to also follow through with all the work that you are doing. And then give them responsibility, but also give them authority. You cannot continue to micromanage a business that is doing 100 million naira revenue per annum, for instance. Of course, you can micromanage a business that's doing 10 million naira. But once you continue to grow, then you must understand that this baby that I have built and nurtured over the last 5, 7, 10 years, it now has wings. And I should allow it to fly. Now, that is why when you are hiring, you must hire people that you trust. You must hire people that understand the vision that you have. It's always very difficult. I tell people, my biggest challenge in business is actually my people. Young Nigerians do not understand the concept of building. I am sorry, I don't want to borrow from the president, but we do not understand the concept of building. The concept of building requires perseverance, it requires patience, it requires consistency. If you are not patient, then you cannot persevere and you cannot be consistent. And you can be successful today and not repeat it tomorrow and expect that the business will grow. Now, once you have all of these things in place, then you must also continue to think about all the other regulatory issues. Whether, like I just told you now, whether it's NSITF if you need it, whether it's PENCOM if you need it, if you have grown to the point where you need it or not. Make sure you do it. Otherwise, you get to the point where now your business is growing and regulatory issues are becoming a problem for you. There are a lot of grant opportunities and there are a lot of fellowship opportunities that I'll be willing to share with you. If there is a way I can do that, maybe send it to you in a group or something. I will be very happy to share this information with you. And I will encourage a lot of the young people here to read about these things and think about them and start preparing to apply for them as the opportunities open. People say that 2020 is a terrible year, but I am laughing because I think that I'm riding on a dragon. I have spent the last 8 weeks in Borno, traveling between Auno to Damasak to Bama and Dambua and Biu. And I just went in again today. And we are just replicating our system and expanding. Right now, we are working with more than 5,000 smallholder farmers, mostly in the Northeast and also in Nasarawa State. And we have started the process of enumerating farmers. And right now, we have actually collected bio data of more than 260,000 farmers. The plan for us is to continue to expand and duplicate the model across the entire 19 northern states. This is something that started 10 years ago, actively 8 years ago. It didn't happen in one day. And it didn't happen because I am the farmer in suit. It happened because of all the support system that I have around me. And if you have access to a phone and the internet, then you should be able to utilize these opportunities. They are all over the place. So yes, I'll be sharing some of them. Some are very popular, others are not so popular, but they all have the same purpose, and you can be able to utilize them. If there's anyone who has any specific questions, maybe I'll be happy to answer them. Usually I should have asked what the expectation is. So probably I have been blabbing the whole time. I want to make sure that I'm making sense. So I would want to have some conversation. If anybody has any specific questions about how to run a business, then I can provide answers to that. Hopefully, if I have the answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Usman Ali, for that wonderful presentation. If you have, as he said, if you have any question, you can raise your hand, and I'll hand over to Dr. Tariq to moderate the question and answer session. Dr. Tariq, over to you. If you have any question, just indicate by raising your hand, or you can type in the chat section. Dr. Tariq, are you just?
What happened?
We can hear you, Dr. Tariq.
Okay. In the meantime, I want to thank the presenter. Your presentation actually made sense. It really made sense, and thank you so much. And what you have done today is actually true mentorship. That's true mentorship spirit. The fact that you needed to rest, but then you had made a commitment, and then you still came to this to make your presentation. That's really the kind of mentoring spirit that we require from mentors, and we are really grateful, and thank you so much for providing this guidance. And I'm sure all those that are present are really happy and they have learned a lot. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Yakub, are you with us? Maybe you can take over. You can take over from Dr. Tariq. I think he's having a problem.
Okay, all right. Before I allow this, I would like to ask a question, or maybe just kind of a short comment or request to our brother, Malam Usman. I will first of all like to thank you for this wonderful presentation. Really, it was inspiring, and not only the mentees, even the mentors today, we have learned a lot from you, especially those who have entrepreneurship mindset. The request I would like to make to you is, I think these issues of entrepreneurship is something maybe that may require us to invite you some other time, maybe in future. I hope you will not get tired. You will continue to honor our invitation.
Yeah.
Thank you. And secondly, as it is now, you are an employer of labor. And we have a number of mentees, I'm sure, that are ready to partner with you in one way or the other if you can give them the chance, or at least you can offer them the practical mentoring. So we don't care about the number, however little, maybe 1, 2, 3, or as much as you can. If you can consider maybe taking 1 or 2 or any number you can of our mentees, at least to give them the hands-on training, this will really make a difference. And I'm sure you will be glad also to offer your contribution to the development of our people. So I hope you will consider this request. Then I would like also to now allow the mentees, now the participants, to ask their questions. These are some of requests from us, the organizers. I hope you will look at this, and we will get back to you some other time. Take your time to respond to them. Not necessarily now.
Yeah, thank you very much for your kind words, everybody. I think that the presentation is very haphazard because I didn't actually prepare,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
okay.
apologize for that. Hopefully, we'll get a better presentation when next I get the honor to be invited. And yes, to answer your question, I am, as long as I'm available, as long as I am in a place where I have network and I have a phone on me, I will be able to honor this kind of invitation, and I am always very happy to do it. As for the mentorship, it's something that we do every time and all the time. I provide this kind of mentorship to everybody and everywhere, but I do have a strong bias for the North. If you are from the North, I am just, my attitude is very different towards, in fact, even the attention that you receive and all of that. And it's for obvious reasons. Growing up in Kura, in a small village, and then moving to Makodi, and you know, having traveled across the north and seeing that most of the problems that were there some 30 years ago are still there today, that pushes me a lot. And I'm always very happy to provide the opportunity for guidance and teaching. And I am happy to be able to learn from the mentees too. So yes, all of these are things that I'm very happy to be part of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Tariq, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so you can. There is this Ibrahim Abdullah. He has been raising his hand. Maybe you can call him first. He can't. I
Right.
think he can't raise his hand, but he was indicating maybe you can. His name is
Okay.
Ibrahim. Okay.
First of all, I will like to thank Ms. Osman for this wonderful presentation. Really, we've learned a lot. As Dr. Yakubu already said, the mentors have also learned quite a lot from this wonderful presentation. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
I have a question here posed by one of the participants here. He's asking, did Malam Usman read, you study in the university, and did you learn your skills at school? And then the other question is, I would like to know how you'd like to know how you started your business. I think you've mentioned, you've talked a little bit about this. So probably maybe the first two questions, if you can answer that. Thank you.
Well, to answer his question, I studied, my BSc is in business admin. I did a master's in energy studies with a major in energy finance. I am currently doing a PhD that I have not been able to complete.
Right.
In business administration. You know what they say, all but dissertation,
Right.
We're still studying that because I have to run the business and then I have to write the thesis. But my PhD is about the only work that I am doing that is agri-related. Even though it's a PhD in business management, my focus, my thesis is looking at productivity of rural entrepreneurs.
Right.
And what they can do differently to get better. So that's actually what I'm working on. And because I am covering the 7 states in the North Central, it means I have to do a lot of traveling and stuff. So to answer his question, though, now he knows what I studied. But to answer his question, no, I didn't learn this in school. Actually, I learned agriculture on YouTube and through Google.
Right.
When I started, I used to have a collection of different theses that I printed out and bind together. And my wife will joke about it, and she used to say, "This is your farming Bible." And it was truly, because it is one of the books that when you see it, you know that, whoa, it has been read. Like I read it again and again and again to the point where everything in that book stuck in my brain. It wasn't any special book. It was just a collection of different texts and materials that I got from the internet. And I thought were good and I used. Now, the second thing is I have actually learned by practicing. And I have a lot of WhatsApp groups where we are members with some maybe veterinary doctors, some old practicing farmers. Some of them have more than 30, 40 years experience in farming, I do utilize those resources a lot. Also, because I work a lot with rural farmers, I have a lot of respect for local knowledge. You cannot read it all or practice it all and understand. Sometimes the guy in the village can still show you something that will benefit you and improve your systems. So I do pay attention to all of these little details. I am a strong believer in what I call certificates. I think that the school system is become very terrible, especially in Nigeria. I think that right now what the school system does is it churns out and give people certificates. And the certificate without knowledge is only a beautiful piece of paper with your name calligraphed on it. Actually, I don't hire people based on their certificates.
That's good.
I would usually ask you to give me a Twitter kind of answer. In one sentence, why do you think I should hire you? Because I am interested in your certificates rather than your certificates. I have had instances, this is not an agric-related conversation, and so that's why I have tried not to be technical at all. I have had instances where professors of agriculture have come to shake my hand and said, well done, because we are doing the real practice. So to answer his question again, don't pay a lot of attention to the course. Pay attention to your passion and seek knowledge wherever it is. Learn it and then practice it. And I promise you, you'll be all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, yeah, that really shows, the most important thing is passion. Once you have a passion of something, from what you said, it goes back to you, finding notes, reading those, and, going on YouTube videos. And it really shows how passionate you are about your business. And really, this is what will keep one going. So thank you very much for that. We have a few hands raised, 3 to be precise. So I'll call on these 3 people to answer the questions, after which we'll get the answers from you. So can we please unmute Yahya Hussein Ali? Yahya Hussein Ali, can you unmute yourself? If Fawza can unmute you as well.
Assalamu alaikum.
Go ahead. Alaikum assalam.
Yes, just that, just like you said, sir, I'm impressed with this mentorship that I attend, and actually it's based on the thing I have much of interest on it, but sometimes I find it hard in making the choices. Like looking at, like you talk about the capital. So now that I don't have capital, is it wise enough for me to lend a capital maybe from like other banks to go for maybe like zero interest loan to start it off? Because like initially I did my project based on agriculture for the passion I have of it, the impact of agricultural development on food security in Bunker local government. I take it myself. So, and there's this agricultural herbicides. Is it better for one to use them while venturing into agriculture, or one can go for that of the markets, the seed sells in the market? Which one is best?
Okay.
Thank you for that. Would you prefer we get a few questions before you answer, or would you prefer answering the questions one after the other?
Probably I should just take the questions as they come so that we don't forget.
Right, okay then. Go ahead then.
Yahya, thank you very much. So first of all, you do not have capital, and that's okay. But the banks will not give you money simply because you have an idea. You'd have to prove that at least you have a minimum viable product. And the best way to do this is either to save money or to borrow from family and friends or other people who understand your idea and believe in it. But again, I will insist, and this is what I did. If you want me to give you my personal example, I took a job. I was a lecturer in BUK. That didn't last long. I was a lecturer before I ran away from the academic system. and got some fine job with a World Bank project. I was very fortunate. And what I did was, as soon as I got the job, I remember telling my mentor that, hey, I'm probably going to stay for 1 year and flex before I now start running my business. And he's like, excuse me, I thought you're sensible. You don't even have 1 month. You're going to go on a long sabbatical of 1 year. So what I did was I was saving money from my job, specifically for the purpose and reason of running my business. And I started my business while I was still working on this World Bank project. Now, what that did to me was I had already built traction and pedigree by the time I left the World Bank project. So it was easy for me to apply for loans. It was easy for me to apply for grants. It was easy for me to apply for fellowships because I could clearly say, hey, this is what I have done. And if you support me, I will definitely be able to do more. Now, if you don't build that pedigree, it's going to be really difficult for you to be able to find a bank that will loan you money. Secondly, do not be afraid to take a loan. If you have access to it, if you know that you are willing to run a business, then do not be afraid to take a loan. In another life, I used to be a banker too. And I remember how we joke about how if you are not taking a loan, then you are not running a real business. You're just probably being able to survive. So don't be afraid if you have access to it, as long as you know exactly what you will be doing with the money. Please take it. Will that be all the questions he asked?
Yes, I think that was what he asked.
Okay,
So,
I remember the one he asked about using seedlings and herbicides.
right.
So we pride ourselves as one of the farms that do zero waste agriculture. And even for us, we could not achieve 100% organic. So definitely sometimes you have to use the herbicides. Sometimes you have to use the synthetic fertilizers, especially as you grow. As your business and your farm increases in size, then you would also be needing more support, especially if you're not able to produce everything organically by yourself. The second question, please, 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 don't even buy your seed in the markets. If you are in Kaduna or around Zaria, go to places like Value Seed. If you are in Kano, go to Jubeli. Make sure that they are certified seed producers. I will tell you what the danger is. So if, for instance, you take corn, you buy it from the market, you plant, and maybe you would get only about 50% germination level. If you buy it from a certified seed producer, you're very likely to get up to 98%. So please always buy your seeds and even the pesticides and herbicides from certified distributors or producers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi, can you unmute yourself as well? Can we unmute Ibrahim Abdullahi?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, Usman, for the wonderful presentation. It's really very amazing. You have dedicated almost a decade to build this business empire, and I think it's a big deal with this growth rate that you have. Shows your hard work and commitment. So my question will be, for people that do not live in Nigeria, probably like move back and forth between Nigeria and some other place, based on the vast experience that you have in business, and starting off and stuff, how would you advise people that have ideas to initiate a business like that and trust people when they have like a prototype to work on, or a business plan? How do you advise them to trust people to work on the business while they are away, even though it's just a startup business?
Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words. If it's just a startup business, please don't do it. Save your pound sterling and your dollar. It will die. I'm sorry, but it will die. One of the major cause of businesses going down is actually this owner-manager issue. Out of every 10 farms that have failed in Nigeria, 6 of them, the reason is because the manager is not the owner. When you have built structures and systems, then you can leverage on those structure and system, and the business will run itself. And even when you are not around, you will be okay. But I promise you, if you don't invest at least 3 years, if you don't dedicate at least 3 years and watch the business grow, then you are very, very likely going to have a problem. I know exactly what I am talking about. People have this attitude of, oh, well, it's not mine, and so what? A lot of other people think maybe you went and got the money like free gifts. And so they are not really devoted and dedicated. So please be careful. Instead, I would advise that you look for reputable businesses that are doing exactly what you want to do and invest in them. So for instance, if you wanted to do agriculture, you can look for an agri-business and maybe invest in way of buying some shares to help support someone who is passionate about it. That way the business will grow and so will your investment. And because you are not the one funding it 100%, because the other partner is already running the business, then you can be sure that he will support the business even while you are away. And then it's going to be easy for you to also manage because you can always have conversations with him or when you visit. But please, if you're starting a startup, like 100% by yourself, do not do it if you're not going to be available to manage it, at least for the first 3 years. I hope I've answered the question.
That's very clear. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, the next person here raising his hand is Zakaria Ushaib. Zakaria Ushaib, go ahead, please ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you very much for the very nice presentation. I have 2 questions. Before my question, I would just lay an introduction. Firstly, my name is Zakaria Ushaibu. I'm from Yobe State. I'm graduate of physics from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Actually, since from my secondary school up to university, I never had something that I would be an entrepreneur or to be in a business, something like that. No, I get an interest when I was in NYC camp. There is one program they used to have in NYC camp. They call it Said program. So it's by them they ask us to choose any business that you want to be. So by then I just asked myself as a physics graduate, which kind of business is maybe good for me or I can do it. Just it take me just a day. I did not decide. First, I go for fishery. Later on, I decide I cannot do that. I later on decide to go to power and energy. I think that is related to my field, physics. So after the camp, I did a first camp training in Meduguri where I learned about solar installation and CCTV camera installation. I did very well. I spent my 1 year service learning this solar installation, and I even start doing a job in Meduguri. But later on, I have to come back to home. I'm in Yobe. I come back. I leave all what I'm doing. So because I got an admission for an MSc still in Zaria. So my question is that I'm asking, how can I manage being an entrepreneur and studies? And the presenter said that the capital is no problem for a new started entrepreneur. I can see that for me is a very big challenge to me. Later on, when I come back home, I think about this is new place for me, new Nobody knows that I'm doing this kind of business. I decide to register a business name, later on a company name. I now successfully register a company name, Zax Tech Nigeria Limited, specifically working on CCTV camera and solar energy, but I'm just laying foundation for the company. So my question is that how can I manage being a student or study with being entrepreneur? And second question, that the presenter said that the capital is no problem, though some part of the question is answered. But for me, I see these solar things and CCTV camera is very expensive. For me, the capital is a problem. And I heard that the presenter study something in energy in his MSc level. So I need more light on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for the short introduction. So quickly, the first one is you are from Yobe, you have learned this job, and you know how to do it. You have been able to build some pedigree for yourself and some traction. I think it is your fault that nobody knows that you know how to do that kind of job. So I tell you what, now everybody knows almost everything I'm doing. My WhatsApp status says everything I'm doing. My Facebook field says everything I'm doing. Nobody that knows me doesn't know that I'm a farmer. Everybody knows that. I put myself out there, and I started by doing it deliberately. It took a while. Now I've gotten to the point where radio houses and TV stations call for my attention, and I'm like, oh, I'm very sorry, I have an emergency. I can't come and speak for you. You would have to consistently put yourself out there. Who are your friends? What are you telling them about the work that you're doing or your business? What is happening on your social media feed? What are you typing and writing and talking about? Whether it's on Twitter or it's on Facebook or it's even on your WhatsApp status. People need to hear you, and they cannot hear you unless you speak out. So yes, you have a responsibility to continue to push yourself out there so that people can see you. There's something very important about the internet and SEO. And I like to tell people to try this. Just put your name on Google and search and see what comes out. And then I give you a simple example. Put my name on Google and search and see what comes out. You're probably going to get some 13-page talking about Usman Ali Lawan, and I am the same person. In most cases, what you get for most people is just maybe three search reports, maybe Twitter, Facebook, and the likes. If you don't put yourself out there, people will not know. And these days, most times when you start talking to people, the first thing they do is they check you out by going on Google to look at you. That's the first one. And also you have chosen a very good business, by the way, because Yobe and Maiduguri, I see these days, almost everybody owns a solar energy equipment. And even the government, you go out at night and you see all the street lights are solar powered. So I think you can do more in terms of putting yourself out there and talking to people about what you do and discussing it. The second issue is the issue of the capital. Now, it is because you don't know, but there is a lot of money that is out there as grants for renewable energy. And if you are in the Northeast, you have even more opportunities because of all the problems that the Northeast has. So, you must always be able to at least start the business and show at least a minimum viable product. Let people understand that you know it and you can do it. Once you're able to achieve that, I promise you, it won't be hard for you to be able to apply for a grant or a fellowship and be able to get it. The issue of being in school and running an enterprise, I will tell you that that is solely dependent on the person. except for this year, this is the only year that I am not doing any fellowship. Last year, I did 3 fellowships. I am running 2 for-profit companies. I have 1 NGO, and I am doing a PhD at the same time. And my friend will joke and say, you are a madman. You are living 36 hours a day. It's hard, it's tough, but you can do it if you really want to do it, if it's important for you. You see, people who are in the US and Europe, they know this better. Because even as a student, you will have to work and still be in school. Otherwise, you won't be able to provide for yourself. And obviously, once you are 20, nobody wants to provide for you over there. You would have to work for yourself. So you have to cultivate the habit. One of the biggest factors that have helped me is my work ethic. I never say I am too tired to do work. I can be too tired to even eat. But once it has to do with my farm or any project, I am on my way out, straight up. So you must be able to cultivate that kind of energy to be able to do what you want to do. I do know that it is possible, it is doable, and I encourage you to continue to push it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. The next person raising his hand here is Mala Isa Musa Hassan Gusau.
Hello.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
I'm very, very much happy to be here.
Am I still
honestly,
here? Am I still with you?
Yes. We
hello.
can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
I said I am very much happy to be with you in this very educative platform and session. And honestly speaking, this has changed my perspective of so many things in life. As I said earlier, my name is Isa Musa Sanguso, and I just want to have an input from the speaker as to way out in the way we are doing our own thing. Actually, we have a foundation in our own environment looking at the kind of setback we have developmentally and educationally wise from our own part of the ring. With some of our like minds, we've been able to establish a kind of foundation we called Orphan and Less Privileged Foundation, to which we've started aiding some of our boys and girls in the area in terms of developing their Western education and their mental capacity towards a lot of other aspects of life. And to this end, alhamdulillah, we've been able to at least sponsor getting to 3 people that we have as a graduate of diploma from different fields, ranging from mechanical engineering, Sharia and common law, and an NCE student, which is the only female we have from our scholarship who studies English and Islamic studies. But this presentation have, as I said earlier, changed my perspective, and I begin to think inward, and also this have motivated me to request from the speaker, from his own input on how to change our modus operandi, in the terms of maybe trying to co-opt some of this entrepreneurial perspective in the way we do with our student whom we sponsored in such that if they have graduated, they can also be on their own without thinking of waiting for government to provide for them, and as well also to see how we as an organization or as an NGO or as an association per se, we can also be built in an entrepreneurial way of also sourcing our own income. Because as I said, we are almost 20 that we have like-minded that we've started this, but to the dismay of maybe hearing of much of you, only 3 now are the sponsor of the whole program, having getting more than also 15 or 16 people ranging from primary, secondary, and the tertiary. So how can we as an organization, as a body, how do you think, sir, we can at least co-opt or put in entrepreneurial way of doing things such that it will increase our own volume of income with the task we are having and we've taken upon ourselves. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you. I am assuming that you are speaking from Gusau.
Yes, I am from Gusau, Brass. I'm talking to you. I'm in Mina for some exercise,
Okay.
for some assignments.
Oh,
But
okay. Okay.
I follow up the situation. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much. First of all, thank you for your question, and also thank you very much for the good work that you are doing. Well done. Two things I will say quickly. The first is, you see, every NGO that is grant dependent, 100% grant dependent NGOs are not sustainable. Even if you're not getting grants, if you are sponsoring the activities from your pocket, you will get tired.
Definitely.
You will get tired. So it's not sustainable. And this is why you hear the whole buzz around now about social entrepreneurship. So social entrepreneurship or business for social good is actually a model that is profit oriented, but also has the society at mind. What that means is you're trying as much as you can to continue to make profit, but also doing a lot of social good. So you are right, and I am happy that you're already thinking like this. I think that you need to think about something that your NGO can start doing that will be producing money for you, so that the good work that you are doing will be sustainable. I also like the second question. So like I told you, I am a product, I am purely a product of certificates, and I am a strong advocate of certificates. And that is what I said something one time, and the entire audience was shocked. And I'm going to say it to you. If I have any child that has gone through to secondary school level and knows how to read properly and write properly and understand basic arithmetic, Daddy, I don't want to go to the university. My only question will be, what do you want to do with your life? And by Allah, if he keeps the values, I will support him. This thinking that everybody needs to go to school and get a degree or a certificate needs to change. The truth of the matter is, a lot of people we need PhDs, we need people in humanity, we need people in STEM, we need all of those people. But not everybody needs to go to the university to live. You see, it's the same problem that the United States and most of the European countries are having today. They have left skills acquisition and everything technical to China. And they are busy doing all the white-collar jobs and design-related jobs. And because of that, companies like Apple cannot even produce their phones in the US, even though they're able to design it. They have to go to where people have the capacity and technical ability to be able to assemble the phones with the kind of precision that is required, and to also be able to do it very quickly. And then it's cheaper. Now, we must pay attention to skills acquisition, especially in your case, where you're just helping these people who normally would not be able to go to school. I think you should start focusing on maybe sending them to skills acquisition schools that have modules in skills acquisition, or are technical in nature, or even focus on entrepreneurship development. What I find is most people who teach entrepreneurship in Nigeria are actually not entrepreneurs themselves. And so it's a big issue when someone who is supposed to teach something that is practical doesn't actually have the practical experience themselves. But in all, it's a very wonderful work you're doing, and I'm happy you're thinking the way you're thinking. Now you understand that it's not sustainable. You must think about a business model around it. Even if you want to be producing something and selling, what that does to you is you're able to employ people. And also your beneficiaries who are on your scholarship can intern for you. So you will reduce the cost of your overhead cost on salaries. So you really need to start thinking along that line. This is a conversation that we cannot have in 3 minutes or 5 minutes. It's a very broad conversation. Maybe if you want to follow up on that, we can have a one-on-one conversation about it later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. So I've got one more question which has been typed here for the chat. So this question is asking, most entrepreneurs advise that you identify a problem and give a solution to it. So it's asking, please, can you give us a scenario or a practical example that will serve as a point of reference? This it seems a bit broad, but I don't know if you have a short response to that.
This is the kind of questions that when mentors ask, I say, look, I don't have an answer because it's too broad, and sometimes you want people to be able to think. Okay, I'll tell you. If I don't know where he is typing from, but I just drove now past Mararaba as I was coming to Kefi. I know that I have seen like up to 20 different problems. For instance, you know that transportation is a challenge in this country.
It is.
And we have still not, if you look at the numbers, Nigeria, of course, except for very recently, but even as at 2018, Nigeria spent $6.8 billion in 1 year to import food. So you know that there is a challenge with agricultural system in Nigeria. I would give you simple examples for people who are into trading. And I would say, if you sell food, if you sell clothes, and you focus on transportation, then you would always be in business. If he looks around, I am sure he would be able to see a lot of challenges. The way you provide solution mostly is when people have these challenges themselves. If you hear entrepreneurial stories, most people would tell you, oh, it was actually my problem and I solved it, and I thought that, oh, I have done very well in solving it. Why not also sell the solution to other people who have similar problems like me? Yeah. So I mean, look around. You would see a lot of challenges and problems, societal problems, and then try and think about how you can provide solution that is innovative and different, and also that works. And I assure you, people will buy. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Finally, we do understand you're quite busy. You have a lot of commitments. Nonetheless, here we have one of the participants requesting if we can have a kind of a PowerPoint. I know this is very difficult. Nonetheless, you might have some PowerPoints of presentations that you've had before, which might take lesser time to to edit.
I do have a lot of PowerPoints.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do get the chance, I think our participants here would love to, spend more time and have a look at those presentations.
Yeah, I will do that. Actually, I had made a promise to my contact person, Alhaji.
Right.
I had told him that I was going to come in with a slide. Unfortunately, I couldn't
Yes.
get one. Yeah, but yes, I will do some edit and maybe send a couple, maybe one or two, so that I mean it's information that you can always look at, and it's always helpful.
That's right. Right. So at this point, I would like to thank you once more for sparing time to talk to us, tell us more about entrepreneurship in general,
Thank
and
you very
we really enjoy it. We've learned a lot. Thank you very much. So I'll pass over to Fauzia. Thank you.
Thank you, Usman Ali, for honoring our invitation, and thank you all to our audience for joining us. Remember to join us on our social media accounts, where we always have conversation is on our Telegram Arewa Youth Mentorship Program, and then you can find the links to the other social media accounts. So I'll call it a day for now. I don't know if Prof, do you have anything to say? Prof, do you have anything to say?
Oh, okay. I can only say thank you so much, Usman Ali Lawan, and thank you all participants for attending, and we'll see you again in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope that I'm able to make some sense. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone.
Usman. This you are honoring something for me, Usman. Most of the
It's a great
times,
honor.
my activities, you end up maybe deadline or you're busy. I really appreciate this.
All right. Okay, bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.